The e-commerce niche is a pretty broad landscape of businesses. I have the definition pulled up here. It's commercial transactions conducted electronically on the internet. And in today's video, we're going to go outside the box a little bit and explore this e-commerce business that's doing over $320 million a year. And they have a Shopify store. We usually talk about Shopify on my channel and social media. I love Shopify. All of my businesses are on Shopify, but I do find a lot of inspiration from brands that are outside of Shopify and still in the e-commerce realm. And this is a really good one that I want to explore with you. It's called Inspirato. And what they are is actually a luxury travel and lifestyle membership. So it's an annual membership that you can buy. So they have that yearly annual recurring revenue. And as you see, they are quite interesting. So they have a very simple, approach to their landing page, in my opinion. Like, this isn't anything too special. However, if we go look at their memberships, let's actually look at the pass overview, for example. I believe we can see it's $2,500 a month. So it's a very luxury experience, very luxury subscription. And basically, it allows you to experience the world's first luxury travel subscription, I guess. So I'm pretty sure there's others, but I guess they're claiming to be the first or the only. Basically, they have 100 plus destinations around the world. I do want to dive into some of the actual ways that this brand is growing here, because it's, like I said, pretty interesting to see that they're actually a public company. They're in the travel space. They're in the membership lifestyle space. They've raised a ton of money. They've acquired companies. It's really an awesome little umbrella of companies here, a little breadcrumb trail that we can follow to hopefully grow our businesses to this level. That's definitely my goal. I don't know about you, but I would love to grow my business to be a portfolio of companies that does over 300 million a year. So let's dive into it. Now, they do have a Shopify store, as I mentioned, which is kind of how I found this, actually. I was looking at a Shopify database here, and this brand came up as, doing over 28 million plus a year through their Shopify store, I guess. And then I found that they were actually a public company. So let's actually shop the merch here. Let's see what it's all about. This is their Shopify store. And as you see, they have a ton of merch. I'm guessing they give this, to their new users, which is actually a very good strategy. It sounds so simple, but I've been seeing this used by a lot of softwares. For example, in the DTC space, they will send out merch to their valued customers. And these guys are kind of the kings of that, it seems. They have a bunch of merch. And I don't know exactly what the experience looks like once you sign up to their subscription, but I'm sure that if you're paying, let's say, $15K one-time fee and then $5,500 a year, they're going to give you a few free t-shirts and hoodies. I mean, they better, right? But it's kind of interesting to me how much money some people are willing to pay. And like, what's crazy is that, let's do 329 million divided by 5,500, right? That's 59,000 customers. I mean, that's a lot of customers, right? Let's do 15,000. So yeah, let's see, 22,000 customers, let's say, in order to do 329 million a year. Like, that's not that crazy, right? Like, that's not that insane to think, of getting 21,000 customers. It is a lot, right? But with a Shopify store, you can get 10,000 customers relatively fast if you're scaling with meta ads, which they are doing. They are using meta ads to grow this business. Surely they're doing a bunch of other things as well. But, that's kind of interesting. So that's what you can do is when you have a higher ticket product, and especially a subscription, the scaling potential becomes much bigger in a lot of ways. However, that's not to say, lower price products can't scale, but I definitely have noticed that some of the biggest companies in the world sell pretty expensive things, like Tesla, Apple. They sell pretty pricey things, and it's no coincidence that they're some of the most profitable and biggest companies in the world. Tesla's not like the most profitable, but they're certainly one of the fastest growing companies. Now, let's take a look here. They have actually gone public. And this is what I find so interesting about this level of business and why I love exploring it with you guys. Even though they're producing all that revenue, they're actually losing a ton of money. So it's, this isn't to kick them while they're down or anything. Plenty of companies lose a ton of money. But it's just really interesting how the bigger the company gets, a lot of times the more money they are losing. You'd think that they would be making a lot of money, but in reality, they're actually losing $51 million a year. That's pretty crazy, right? Yet they still have a massive valuation. If we take a look at their market cap, okay, actually their market cap is really bad. It's 36 million, which is kind of interesting. I would consider that to be a little bit of a distressed business. Keep in mind, guys, I don't know anything when it comes to investing really. Like I do because I look into this, but I'm a noob when it comes to some of these things. Like I don't understand too well how this company is valued at 36 million, even though they produce 300 million. But they are negative 50 million. So I guess that does kind of make sense. But ultimately, yeah, I wanted to look at the numbers here because I find them quite shocking. One of their best years was actually 2020 with the pandemic, believe it or not, even though not a lot of people were traveling, because they almost broke even that year, which is interesting. Again, now, if we look at their quarterly earnings, they did have a profitable quarter in March of this year, and actually the end of the month this year, September of this year, last quarter, they did 4 million. That's actually really good cash flow. So who knows? Maybe this company is on the up and up and people are kind of sleeping on it. Another funny thing I noticed is that they're actually a Mexican, well, they're headquartered in the US, but I believe that they're public in the Mexican stock market. I don't know what's up with that, but that's kind of interesting. They've raised over $209 million, mostly post going public, post IPO. So I guess this is one of the reasons why companies like to go public, right? It's just to raise money a little bit easier. People can just easily buy the stock. But they've also raised money through just like normal private equity rounds and venture rounds. So pretty interesting. They've been at this. So they first raised money back in 2011 and then they went public 10 years later. That's wild. This is just so interesting to me. This is like the next level of business, or not the next, but like a very high level of business. Now let's take a look at some of their Facebook ads because let's bring it back down to just some very basic things, right? Like, this company is so massive, but they're still running these like super simple TikTok style ads. So this one's 7 seconds long. POV, you're in Punta Cana, it's 10 a.m., you just had breakfast, it's a perfect 80-degree day, and your only plans are to sit by the pool until sunset.
What makes you happy?
That's a really great simple ad. And then, you click learn more, and then this is how simple the funnel is. It takes you to just some information about Villa Caona. I guess that's one of their resorts. You can take this whole, this whole house to yourself. That's pretty interesting. You can register for it, create an account. Okay, things to know. So this is kind of their lander. This is sort of the product, right? Is the experience that they're selling. It's so interesting. So let's say you deserve a vacation, and then boom, you register with them and you're off to the races. I'm guessing now then they have sales guys or sales women that are just going to be constantly calling you to get you to book a membership. And that's where it all begins. It's actually a very simple funnel. I love it. I think it's a really great idea. I do wonder whether or not they own these resorts or whether they just have a deal with those people. Let's look at another one of these ads. So the ad copy here is save you a seat by the pool. This one is, if you close your eyes, you can almost feel the warm ocean breeze. They're really tapping into that, like, sentimental, like making you feel something. These are so basic though, right? And that's also what's interesting is that some of these really basic ads can work. Or this one's just an image, right? A room with a view, please. Tap the link in our bio to explore Inspirato home. Villa Hyperion and Turks and Caicos, a beachfront vacation home that recently returned to our collection. So one of the biggest things that I'm taking away from this, and it's something that I've thought about for a long time actually, is that a lot of people overthink meta ads, right? They think that their business is for some reason just not viable with meta ads, when in reality, even these guys, right, that have a $15,000 one-time fee that you have to pay in order to even subscribe to their thing, they're running meta ads because they know that everybody uses meta products, right? Even the richest people in the world do, believe it or not. So meta will show your ads to the person that is actually going to convert for you if that's what you're optimizing for. Of course, the more ads you can give it, the better, because then it will better find that customer. And this is why at academylab.com, which is my e-commerce accelerator, we run ads for a lot of companies. It's one of the services that we provide because it's so powerful. And these guys definitely know how powerful it can be. Very simple funnel. Again, just super simple stuff. And then, they have their Shopify store, which is just interesting, trying to tie it all together here. Let's see what this looks like. So yeah, their landing pages are so odd as well. You can buy multiple of these. It's very weird setup here. It's almost like a wholesale setup. Maybe they do wholesale to some of their locations, which is kind of interesting. So let's see. I just want to find out whether or not they own these things. Portfolio includes branded luxury vacation homes available exclusive to subscribers and guests. So they do, it sounds like, own some of those. Now, one more thing also, I noticed that they did have an acquisition here, and it was Portico. So Portico is another membership, travel, also trip planning, daily housekeeping too, and other services. They bought this company and they just rolled it into Inspirato. So that's kind of interesting. It sounds like they've kind of closed it down since then and just, again, rolled it into this company, which is a pretty common strategy, it does seem, from what I've observed from the the biggest companies in the world, the biggest private equity funds. This is kind of what they do, is they roll up companies together to create an even bigger company. And I'm doing the same thing. I've been having some really big success with some of our Shopify stores, and I'm constantly building new ones with my team. That's kind of what we're doing, is we're building this factory of results for clients, but then also for our own brands. And yeah, I would love to connect with more investors, more people that have access to capital, because personally, there's a lot of apps, for example, that I would love to buy, a lot of Shopify apps. I could build apps too, but I don't know. Maybe I will, but I would also love to buy like an established app and just plug it into my audience, plug it into my stores, our client stores, our community. So yeah, if you're an investor or you know stuff about private equity, I'd love to connect. And if you're an app builder for Shopify and you want to sell, hit me up. You never know. I could put those two together, right? Put some capital together and some good leads. Maybe if you're a founder and you still want to retain some equity and you want to plug into my ecosystem, that could be a good idea. Hopefully this didn't bore you. Hopefully this isn't too out there if you're just a beginner in e-commerce. I know that I just put out a ton of information out there, but usually these videos are me piquing my own curiosity and trying to learn along the way. It's kind of a good excuse to explore these massive businesses and see sort of what they look like, right? What their architecture is like, so I can get inspired. Interesting though. I really like this one. It sounds kind of like a real estate portfolio plus ARR membership experience, hospitality company. And yeah, even though they're losing a lot of money, it does seem like they're making some positive changes actually, given their quarter to quarter results. Seems like they're starting to make a little bit of money here, which is really awesome. Like very slim margins, 6% margin. But on $69 million, like that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. See ya.